Hello, Chasity. This is Nathan. I'm designing your ebook and your print version of your book. I'm going to walk you through your Google Drive edition of your books. Now, if you don't know what Google Drive is, please look it up on Wikipedia. If you're like me, I've been around longer, since before Al Gore invented the internet, and probably you were too. So some of my clients are very cautious about sharing their files through the cloud. It's exactly like sending it as an email forward. The only difference is we're doing it in the cloud directly. So this is how I want to share files with you in the future. After you finish your methods, your method revisions, we'll be revising the same file on Google Drive, and I'll show you how to do that if you don't know. So let me walk you through this. We're going to start with the ebooks. Now, I formatted your book in 5 different formats: Kobo, iBooks, Nook, Kindle, and Google Play. And then there's a generic form, which is just a basic HTML version of your ebook. All of them use HTML, they're just formatted a little differently. All of these programs decided to, they produce their own e-readers, which is a tablet that you hold in your hands. iBooks has the iPad, Kobo has the Kobo reader, Nook has the Nook, and Kindle has the Kindle. And Google Play has the Google phones. So all of these platforms, different kinds of devices, use different kinds of different stores that they sell through. Like iBooks uses iTunes, Kobo uses Kobo Books, Nook is Barnes & Noble, Kindle is Amazon, and Google is Google. So there's 5 different places you need to upload your book if you want the widest possible audience. You need to start with Kindle. They receive priority because they are the ones that will make your life miserable should you choose to go around their policies. They require exclusive rights to your book for 90 days. Basically, all that means is if you intend to publish with Kindle, you need to publish with them first and don't upload it anywhere else for 90 days. If you try to avoid that, they will find out and they will punish you for it. Usually that means they will remove your book from Kindle and they will never allow you to publish that title again through Kindle. So they're very serious about this. They've done it to me before. They've done it to clients of mine, and that's just the way that you do it. I had a very good friend of mine that I've edited 400 books for him, and he went out of business because he had been trying to get around Kindle, and it's the 800-pound gorilla right now. So just if you want to publish through them, which is what I think you should do, you just sign up, sign that agreement for 90 days, and then you're free to publish your book anywhere you want. And then you can just reach out to all these other markets. So each one of them requires a slightly different format, and I have that ready to go. And I can make it look different. So what I want you to do is just look at the Kindle version and the iBooks version. The way you do that is double click on it and you see Kindle Mobi, and just highlight that. You need to download it. I'm right clicking and you can't see my whole screen. Download, and then I'm going to go back. iBooks. I'm guessing you have iBooks and you have a Kindle reader on your computer. And that's going to go to your downloads file. And then I'm going to go back twice and I'm going to download the print version. So I've removed just about everything from my downloads file. So I click on downloads and you see print, EPUB, and Mobi. When you click on Mobi, it's going to open up your Kindle reader. If you don't have it, I suggest you download it. Okay, that error you will not see because I had already uploaded it into my Kindle reader as I was previewing it. While that's uploading, I'm going to show you iBooks. This has a generic cover right now. As soon as you have a cover finished, we can I can put that front and center. Now I know that our let me go to the title page real quick. This is your title page. I have this beautiful glyph here, and I went with the title. I know that it's still subject to change, but I have Mindful Acceptance, the 4 Disciplines of Emotional Self-Care. I think that captures the heart of your book. And I have, oh gosh, I misspelled your name. Oh. Well, okay. Should be Chasity, obviously. My S button is sticking. And that's same error is going to show over here. I'm so sorry. Okay. Everything else looks good. Okay, so you have this nice little glyph, Mindful Acceptance, the 4 Disciplines of Emotional Self-Care, and you can see how that differs just a little bit in appearance. This on the right is iBooks, and on the left is Kindle. And you also have this beautiful table of contents here that it goes away. You can toggle in and out of that. So obviously, Chasity, K. Adams is your name. Sharper Quill is me, and hopefully it goes to my website if you click on it. So it looks like you have a real publisher. Let me go back. So this is what the very first page of your iBooks, your ebook looks like in Kindle. And I only did the first 3 chapters just in case, in case you want major changes. One thing I do suggest is that we move the introduction to chapter 1, both in the ebook and the regular version. Just start out chapter 1, chapter 2. So chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, mindful acceptance. So that way it gives the book a little cleaner look. This is your copyright page, and it's in the table of contents over here. So what's going to happen is when the person first opens the ebook, it's going to open up to introduction. And if they want to look at your other places in the book, they can just use their arrow keys. I like it when a book starts where you want the person to read. And you have some good, nice, generous lead around introduction, and then caps on the first line of the first paragraph, no indentation. And your print book looks a lot like this. So let's look at chapter 2. So you have chapter number here with glyphs on the side, and then 4 disciplines of emotional self-care. And I'm changing that. I'm suggesting that you change that to avoid emotional self-care here and here in the table of contents. So it'll be just the 4 disciplines and then 3 emotional self-care. But I'm just showing this, and this is a subtitle. And then your first paragraph is always going to be without an indentation, just like in the print. And let me show you here. That's 3. Let me go back. Now I'm not sure what to do with this, and that is the section for your mindful acceptance exercise. I just formatted it not as a subheading, which is what this looks like. Be creative here. That's a subheading in all caps, and I just centered this with bold for your mindful acceptance exercises. And we can put that in the contents, but it doesn't look very good. Just let me know if you want to see what that looks like. So that's what your book looks like here. So you might want to look through that and see if you want to make changes. Let me just show you here in iBooks. iBooks is a little different. let's see. Let's go to the first chapter. You still have the glyphs on both sides, the number, mindful acceptance. You have caps for the first line. And let's check and see. I don't think you have you don't have any subheadings in one, but you do have mindful acceptance exercise. It is bold and centered. You have caps for your first line. I don't think that you have that here. Goodness gracious. Yeah, no caps here. So they read the file. These files, they read the original file just a little bit differently. So let's go to chapter 3 and look back at that emotional exercise. See, one thing that kind of doesn't make any sense here in the ebook, and maybe for the print book too, all these lines. You know, they're not. You can't write anything on an ebook. You know what I mean? So that's something to think about. Now you can keep it, but you just have to ask yourself if it makes sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me, but you know, I could be a little biased. And really, you're the one that needs to be happy with this. So I think this looks really cool for an ebook, but I can remove all this space. I can remove little glyphs. You know, we can say chapter 3 instead of 3. But you know, that's how my book is here. Just find. Now this is a print book, but you can see just one. There's no. It doesn't say chapter. History of research, space, and the first line has the caps. It's just whatever look you want to go for. I like to make it look a little pretty, so that's what we have. Now let me show you. This is what your book looks like in print. Now this is a simulation. This is not actually not exactly how it's gonna look. Now I'll show you. This is a print book. You have blank page, front and back, and then the half title. See, we're looking at that very first page with print on it. You know, you have your blank page, half title, and half title page is just that first page that has just the title without any other information. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at it in page display, 2-page view, and I'm going to click right there in the middle. And I just want to show you some things about this book. I'm going to click on my right button, right arrow. You know, you have your title and your name is spelled correctly. Chasity K. Adams. I can put your degree. You know, mine doesn't have my PhD on it. You might want to have yours because it's so important. But you see, my title page doesn't have PhD on it. And I did have my PhD for a couple years before this was published. So I'm using what I commonly see. Now I do see in the medical field and in your field, you know, not quite medicine, but psychology and psychiatry, they sometimes have their degree out there. I don't think I've ever seen a Psych D. I don't think I've ever seen that, but if you want it, I'll put it on there. And then Sharper Cool Books, that's me. That's so I can say, hey, I designed this book, and then the proof is they can go on Amazon.com and look at your book and see that my little signature is there. If you don't want that, let me know. This is still your book. You know, you can put whatever you want. Okay, so this is your copyright page. Note to reader about names being changed. I'm going to click again on this middle part. Okay, all this space that you're seeing, that's where the binding is. You know, when you open a book, let's just see here. If you open a book, you see how you have that middle spot right there where it kind of bends? Well, although the words aren't stuck down there like that. When you open the book flat on the table, you see that it has just a little bit of margin. Well, in the middle you have all that binding that's together. You know, and it's all this space right here. We have to account for that in the center. So everything is moved over a bit. And you can kind of tell I goofed a little bit right here on the right. I'm going to have to adjust and move it back just a little, but that's why we're previewing. So that's that. And then you have your table of contents. Now what I'm going to do for table of contents is you can see that I've already made the change. In your ebook, you had, if you remember, you have in the table of contents the 4 disciplines of emotional self-care and then 3 emotional self-care. You don't want that kind of repetition in your table of contents. So in the print version, I already have that, the 4 disciplines for chapter 2 and then chapter 3 emotional self-care. And what I want to do, with your permission, if you think it's okay, I want to number the introduction as chapter 1 and then chapter 2 be mindful acceptance, chapter 3 the 4 disciplines, and on. But these need to be really short because you don't have a whole lot of space before this cuts off. I can scoot it over just a little bit more, but you don't want to have, with your really long titles that you have for your chapters, they need to be shortened to just, maybe 4 words at the most, so that it doesn't go into the next line and it get a nice clean table of contents. Introduction starts a little bit further down the page, and that's where you have your first page number. This is 96 points of font, introduction, and then some space, and then here you have your small caps for the first 4 or 5 words, however it makes sense. And then I'm going to click on this middle part again, right arrow key. This is the book proper. This is what whenever you have both pages full text. You have your name up here on every even page, positioned on the left. Title of the book positioned on the right. And I've already taken out that little space right there. So this E is going to line up all the way over there to the right. And page number centered. Now I can make a couple of changes here. I can center the atoms and center the mindful acceptance if you'd rather have that. You can look at books off your shelf and see what they do with their headings. And I can put this 2 out on the left and the 3 out on the right. So it just depends on what you want. I always like to have my numbers positioned on the middle, because if there's ever any funny business with printing, it's always going to be centered on the page. It's a little trick. If just like with this mindful acceptance up here, it's not aligned all the way to the right because something funny happened in La La Land, and, in the editing and the moving around files and all that stuff. I have to go through and see where that error happened. If it's centered, less chance it's going to go wrong. But I really like the way this looks lined up on the left and right of the page. So it is standard practice. The other thing that you can do is have on the left here, you can have the title of the book, and on the right side, you can have the heading of the chapter. So this can say Mindful Acceptance, or the title of Chapter 1, and then Chapter 2 will have the heading Chapter 2. That's what they did with my book. I have on every even page, I have the title of the book, and every odd page, I have the title of the chapter. So that way the person knows, as they're reading the book, they know what general heading they're under. So it's whatever you prefer. I prefer on all the books that I publish, I prefer starting with this, with this kind of layout. And if you want to change anything, all you gotta do is let me know. So this is what chapter 1 looks like. I don't like having the word chapter. That's kind of redundant and obvious. I just put 1 and then mindful acceptance, and it looks. I'm going to follow in all of this. I'm going to follow your outline here. This is your ebook for. Excuse me. This is your ebook for iBooks. So you have the glyph 1 mindful acceptance. Well, in the print version, it looks better to my eyes to have just one mindful acceptance, and then mindful acceptance is. So, and I have this. One thing that I was worried about, I like having this in all caps. This is your mindfulness exercise, mindful acceptance exercise. One thing that I would consider if I were you is numbering these things. This would be mindful acceptance exercise number 1. Don't need to do that. It's just something that I see done. I was wondering whether or not it looked better to have this or not. So that's one thing to think about. I like the way it looks, but it might be too many words on the page. Excuse me. Too many words on the page for you. Now I only did the first 3 chapters. Everything else is now this shouldn't be here. This just a second. So here we have your first subtitle. This be mindful here. Let me just go forward a little bit. Informal mindfulness. You have so many things that you can change on the way this looks. It's almost, see, this is the way it should look. It's almost overwhelming how many things that you can change, and I can change it goes almost infinity how many things I can change with the sensitivity of all this of everything in the printer. So this is my basic model, and let me know what you think. Oh, let me show you something here. I'm going to go back a little bit just to give you an idea of the variety you have. Okay, so this is pages 2 and 3. I'm going to go to pages 3 and 4, and I'm going to move this center that so you can see what that looks like. So that's what it would look like with your thing centered, and I can move this over here. Show you, just so you can visualize these choices. Okay, so got a lot to think about. Let me know what you like.